what's the best tool to get? Should I buy a cheap tool or expensive tool? And I think really it has to come down to what you're using it for, how much money you have to spend on tools, what's your budget? Let's, for instance, right here, you got two hacksaws, right? This is a cheap hacksaw, and this is a more expensive hacksaw. This is a high tension hacksaw, and this is a cheap junk hacksaw. And to be honest with you, I've used them both a lot. And well, this is a $7 hacksaw and this is a $30 hacksaw. And believe me, I pick up this more. I pick up the cheap hacksaw over the expensive hacksaw because I think it works better. I don't know why, it just works better. Sometimes I pick up the good one. It doesn't seem like it's more tension than this one. So I don't know, because you can tighten this one down. So when it comes to hacksaws, get what you can afford. Should you go to Harbor Freight for tools? It depends on what you're buying. I bought this at Harbor Freight. This is a crowbar, right? This crowbar, we did the whole roof. We took all the plywood off the roof. I beat the snots out of this crowbar. I mean, I kill this crowbar. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's steel. Yeah, it might not be the hardest steel as a snap-on, but it works for me. And I don't think I paid more than $11. It's a Pittsburgh at Harbor Freight, and it works. And you know what? If someone steals this, I'm not gonna feel as bad. I'm gonna feel really bad if I spent $100 on a bar and then someone stole it. That's why I don't spend much money in tools. I'd rather have a tool for everything and get the cheap ones than to spend a fortune for one or two tools. That's how I look at it. I'd rather have a tool to go to, even if it's cheap and it breaks, than not to have a tool. That's how I look at things like this. Caulking gun right here. This is a more expensive caulking gun. It's the ratchet type. Okay, now caulking guns, I really think, I've been through a lot of them, and you can't go cheap in a caulking gun because the cheaper you go, I just have them break on me. I just haven't had good luck with them, so I just spent a little bit more money and got a ratchet type and I love it. So hacksaws, you can go cheap on, they don't make a difference. Caulking guns, you better get a nice one because you're gonna be sorry if you don't. Drills, you got a DeWalt and you got a Ryobi, right? So the DeWalt's a good drill. It's not the professional series, it's just a regular DeWalt, and it's the regular Ryobi. To compare them, I think they're pretty close. Besides, this one has a light. This one costs a lot more than this one, but this one has a light. So, what would I buy again if I had to? I don't know. I'd buy whatever's on sale. If it's on sale, buy it. Why pay top dollar? What if I take this DeWalt right here, this more expensive DeWalt, and I leave it outside in the rain and I forget about it? What if someone steals it? I'm gonna feel bad. This Ryobi, I'm still gonna feel bad, but I'm not gonna feel as bad. It's almost like we do computers for a living, an expensive laptop. Yeah, I've never spent over 600 bucks, 700 bucks on a laptop because I don't want to. Because if I drop that $600 laptop, I'm still gonna feel bad, but I'm not gonna feel as bad if it's a $2,000 MacBook or Pro or whatever they cost. I'd feel bad. Get what's on sale. I don't recommend going cheaper than Ryobi though. I really don't. I recommend getting a DeWalt Ryobi, or, you know, Makita's are really, really good, but get what you can afford, right? I'd rather see you on the side of the road with China garbage tools, at least you have the tools, then you have to call an expensive mechanic to put a serpentine belt on your car. That's ridiculous. You can throw one on real quick, you have the tools. But if you had expensive tools, you can only keep those expensive tools in your garage because you don't have doubles. You can't afford doubles because you just spot the $100 wrench or $100, $200 drill. You can only afford to keep one drill in your car. You can't, well, you don't need a drill in your car, but you know, you get my point. This is a Pittsburgh Harbor Freight. I'm so cold out here, it's so cold out here I can't even talk. And this is a Craftsman. You should probably not go cheap in screwdrivers because the tips break on them. This is the other crowbar that was given to me. This bar has been a lifesaver. And the person watches our videos and they know who gave it to me. They know who they are. This one tool that I got is probably my favorite tool. It's probably my favorite tool I've ever used because it does everything. You can pry with this, it's got an edge on it right here. You can do anything. It's bent a little bit. That's probably from prying, but I don't know what kind of steel this is, but I cannot bend it. It says 14 on it, if anybody knows anything about steel. It's in grade 14, is that 14 the strength of it? I don't know. But anyways, this has been a lifesaver. I got it for free. See, some of the tools you get for free, or you get at Harbor Freight, or you get at yard sales, or you get at flea markets. Sometimes those are the best tools, guys. Don't be afraid to go to the flea market and look for tools. I do it all the time. And I buy them. What I do is I write a list on stuff I need. Like if I need a tool, I'll write a list on my phone. And if I'm someplace and I'm looking for tools, like a yard sale or any place I'm at, and I need a tool, or I need a double to leave in the car, or I need a double to leave in the house, I'll buy that. It seems like I cannot have enough tools. I've never really had tools, so I'm starting to collect more now. And building the house, with Heather and I, building the house, I bought a lot more tools to build the house. I bought a lot of tools and, you know, well, we needed them. And now I have leftover, which is great because I always use them now. So I really think this is just basic. I'm just showing you the basic tools, but one thing you got to remember about buying tools is don't be afraid to buy used, because once you get it off the shelf, it's used. Once you walk out of that store, it's used. This is steel. Steel's steel. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's chrome. It doesn't matter. You're using it as a tool. It don't matter if it's shiny, or you can clean them up. I have a crescent wrench that I got at a flea market for $2. It's crescent. It's really good, and it works. And I'm happy with it. I use it all the time. It's a big one too, and I can't afford $50 for one of those, so I just get at the thing, clean it up with my wire brush, and put some oil on it, and be done with it. So I guess what I'm trying to show you guys here is some tools you can go cheap on, some tools you can't. This right here, the caulking gun, you can definitely not go cheap on. You should really get a ratchet style one. I can't say that anymore. This is like the tool that you just never go cheap on, because I've been through probably about 10 cheap guns, and this is the best, and I use it all the time. You know, Phillips head screwdrivers, these are straight edge, but Phillips head screwdriver, you really want to go more expensive because they strip a lot. Drill bits. Let's talk about drill bits. Drill bits, the rule of thumb I think on drill bit, if you're gonna buy a drill bit, if you're gonna buy a bigger drill bit, try to get them used, like a used set of bigger drill bits, the more expensive ones, the real big ones, get used because they're too expensive. The little ones, don't get used, get high-end new ones. I know you might lose them, but I'll tell you, they break. They break. You're going through steel, it sucks. They're almost useless through steel, the cheap ones. Even the masonry bits on the drills, you gotta get good ones because they don't last. They just one or two, probably 3 holes in a concrete or a block with a cheap China drill bit masonry, it's dead. It's dead. You must throw it in the trash. It gets too hot. It melts it. You know, it sucks. So I would recommend, if you're gonna do that, drill bits, to get high-end drill bits and get a case. Get a case. And there's another thing. Organize your tools so you know what you have. And another thing is put your name on your tools. Like this DeWalt drill right here says Ross on it, right? You can't see it because I'm not close enough, but it says Ross. I name every tool. I think my old man taught me that, or I seen it on his tools, so I copied them. Ross on here. I gotta redo them. But if you can etch them in and scribe them in, that's fine. Like Craftsman, I don't know, guys. If you could tell me in the comments where to return Craftsman. This thing's round edge on here, and I've had this tool forever. I think it was my mother's back when we were kids, and it's got a million coats of paint on it. And maybe it's not. I don't know what it is, but it's been around for probably about 20 years. I think this is like 20 years old. So I got to return some Craftsman stuff. I don't know where to return it. That's the thing, guys. These places go out of business. They change names. Look at Craftsman. Sears is going bankrupt. You don't know if you can return your Craftsman tools. Just buy used. Buy Harbor Freight. Buy used. What's the difference? It's really not going to make much of a difference in the long run, especially if you're a home user. Now, if you do it for a living, and you have a construction company, okay, and you buy that DeWalt, I can guarantee you that this sucker is going to get stolen before this sucker. This is going to get stolen before this. A million times over, they're going to grab the yellow one. They always do, because they think it's a better drill. I don't think so. I think they're always almost just as good because they make them all cheap now. But they're going to grab this one, and this costs more out of your wallet too. So don't be afraid to buy cheaper stuff and have backups of the cheaper stuff, or at least you take charge of the DeWalt and give your employees this to beat up. Would make more sense than buying a bunch of these of the professional type. To me, that doesn't make any sense. I know you're going to fight me on that and say, well, yeah, it does make sense, Ross, because it's going to break on a job. You need it for reliability. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what kind of tool it is. A drill? I don't know. Drills are cheap enough where I probably buy the DeWalt if you need it every day. But what if you have a staff of like 30 guys and they each need a drill? You have to supply them with a drill 30 times. Don't you think they're going to get lost? Don't you think they're going to bring them home, forget about them? Don't you think they're going to get stolen? Don't you think they're going to drop them 10 feet in the air and they're going to break and bust apart? Well, get them the Ryobi. Go with the cheap one. Use your head on how much stuff's going to cost. It's like insurance. You know, you're betting that 5 of those drills are going to be gone in 6 months. They're going to be useless. Batteries. Go buy a battery for DeWalt. Go buy a battery for a Ryobi. Ryobi's cheaper. Put 2 and 2 together. Use your head. What you're going to use that tool for. How many times you're going to use the tool. Having a used pry bar, a big one, is pretty nice. I didn't think it was nice, but I use it for everything. Buy your tools used. Buy them at Harbor Freight. And don't let anybody tell you any different, because a tool's a tool. Doesn't matter what it looks like, it does the job. If you see one at a yard sale, pick it up. And go to yard sales, go to flea markets. You're not a bad person because you do that. What you're doing is you're reusing that tool. If you want to comment on the video, go ahead and put some comments down below. Tell me what you think. Harbor Freight, Ryobi, DeWalt, what tool you should buy new or used, what tool you should definitely buy new and definitely buy high quality, or you'll be sorry. Post that below. I don't know, post your thoughts below in the comments, guys. Help me out here because I learn from you. Oh, and another thing, stay warm, guys. It's gonna be cold.